Flight risk assessments automatically identify hazards and the appropriate risk mitigation procedures. They are based on a comprehensive analysis of the environment, the pilot, the aircraft, and a variety of aviation publications. FlightRisk first identifies the appropriate information, then organizes it in a meaningful way. For example, FlightRisk retrieves the raw FAA NOTAMs, then sorts them by phase of flight. This makes it much easier to find the information you need. FlightRisk highlights the applicable information in the Notices to Airmen publication based on the airfield and time that you select. This publication is important because once information is published in the NTAP, it will be removed from the FAA Safety NOTAM system. FlightRisk also highlights the applicable information from the Airport Facilities Directory, the Temporary Flight Restrictions, and the Terminal's Procedures publication, including alternate minimums, obstacle departure procedures, and taxiway hotspot regions. We also generate a comprehensive airfield report that organizes key information about the airfield, including hours of operation, runway dimensions, toll, and airfield lighting. In addition, FlightRisk uses an advanced rules engine that links the regulatory references to the environmental conditions relating to your flight. FlightRisk is the only risk assessment system in the world to do so. This information is displayed in the Flight Risk Advisory section. Each reference will generate a message that summarizes the important information that you need to know. Each message is then classified into one of three categories depending on the likelihood of exceeding a published limit. A stop warns pilots that a published limit will be exceeded. A yield warns pilots that a published limit may be exceeded unless they take certain actions. And an I notifies pilots of information they may find helpful. In this example, a stop is generated because the visibility is below standard takeoff weather minima as defined by FAR 91.175. Publications such as the FARs help identify hazards and mitigate risks because they're written by experts. However, we realize that the best information often comes from people who fly every day. They have the real-world experience that can help other pilots. They know which instrument approach procedures are the most difficult, which runways are the most challenging, and which taxi procedures are the most confusing. Therefore, we created a post-flight feedback system to aggregate this knowledge. The feedback system is not a blog. It is a rating system that allows pilots to identify hazards in a consistent way. It's very easy to use. You simply use the drop-down boxes to select the applicable procedure, then rate the risk on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being low risk, 5 being high risk. You can also add comments to help other pilots understand the hazards. This information is then incorporated into the flight risk assessment. For example, notice on runway 29 left was rated a 5. To find out why, click on the View Comments link. The landing on this runway was considered high risk because of the visual illusions. You now have some important information that can help mitigate the risk. For example, you may choose to land on a wider runway. In addition, if you fly for an organization, FlightRisk can identify the pilots who have the most experience with a selected airfield. Do you have specific questions about an instrument approach or taxi procedure? No problem. Simply look at the Who's Been There section to find a pilot who can answer your question. This is a quick and easy way for you to find the information you need to make smart decisions. With FlightRisk, you no longer have to search dozens of websites or flip through hundreds of publications. We do the work for you. Regardless of what you fly, FlightRisk can help. FlightRisk is easy, it's fast, and it improves safety.